Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I am McKinley412, and today we're going to be breaking down the Draftkings Friday night main slate here. We do have a large slate ahead of us. However, we don't have any weather concerns that we have to be paying attention to. Always, though, make sure you're keeping up to the minute on those things, especially closer to lock. You never know when a pop-up thunderstorm might be happening. And also pay attention to the COVID-related news. We've had an increase in positive tests around the league. So just make sure you're paying attention to that even after lock, especially with those West Coast games, making sure that all your guys are playing and that somebody doesn't get pulled close to first pitch. So let's look right at the pitchers here. We have the big three right up at the top: Glasnow, Scherzer, and Kershaw. Glasnow has a strikeout rate of 39.5% this season, which is phenomenal. Scherzer, not too far behind at 35%. But Kershaw is only at 26%. He hasn't had the Ks that he typically has, but he's got a favorable matchup going against Miami. So you're going to want at least one of these three. It's going to be tough to put two of these three into your lineup. If you were to put in Glasnow and if you were to put in Scherzer, your average remaining salary for bats is 3.5. It's going to be tough to build like that, but there might be some value on this slate. I'll give you a couple cheap plays here for the bats later on that could definitely boost your bats and who you're able to target. But for now, let's just focus on getting at least one of these three guys. And I don't think there's a way that you can go wrong. They're all in phenomenal spots here. They have fantastic strikeout upside, especially Scherzer and Glasnow. The Mets, Arizona, and Miami, they don't strike out a lot as teams. But when you're talking about ace pitchers like these guys, you can kind of throw those things out the window unless they're complete bottom barrel, like they do not strike out like Houston does. But Glasnow, Scherzer, and Kershaw, you're going to want to jam one of them in. You guys know that already. If I had to rank them for cash, I would rank them. Oh man, that's tough. It's so, I think they're so close. And including like their salary, like with Glasnow 200 ahead of Scherzer, 700 against Kershaw, I think it's so close. I don't know where I would lean, to be completely honest. I've looked through the data, I've looked through the stats of the teams against the handed pitching, just all of that, and they all kind of come out pretty even. So I don't know if you can go wrong. I think Glasnow is probably number one. Yeah, I think it would just be Glasnow, Scherzer, Kershaw, 1, 2, 3 for me, and that's that. So try to, if you can, get two of them, but it's going to be tough on your bats for sure. Next tier you have here, GREINKE, CIVALE, and KLUBER. GREINKE, it's tough to get excited about GREINKE, especially at his 9.5 price tag. He's just thrown up a lot of dud games this season. You can see he's only pitched 4 innings, 3 straight starts. He had a 4.2 here earlier in the season. At 9.5, how can you pay 9.5 for a guy who hasn't pitched into the 5th inning in nearly a month here? And now he's going up against Texas, who they do strike out a lot. They're not a great offense at all, but still 9.5. Find $500 to go up to Kershaw there. CIVALE, he's probably my favorite of the three in this tier here. Going up against Seattle. He's been doing well. I mean, he's 5-0 on the season, sub-3 ERA. The strikeouts aren't as high as you want them to be, especially for a guy priced over 9K. But he's out. He's got a great floor. As you guys can see, he's done well against stronger offenses too, like Cincinnati's, Minnesota, the White Sox, the Yankees. Destroyed Detroit, but it's Detroit. So CIVALE is probably my favorite of these three. And then KLUBER, I like the matchup going against Baltimore, a weaker club. And KLUBER's really turned it on as of late. He struggled early on in the season here, but he's had some nice outings recently. His strikeouts are up in these past 3 games. Again, always important to make sure you're paying attention to who they're playing. You got Baltimore, Detroit, and Washington. Not the greatest of offenses, but here he is going up against Baltimore again, put up 21 against them. So I think he's a fine play, but I'd go CIVALE, KLUBER. GREINKE's not even really on my radar. I mean, he's a GPP in like large field tournaments at best, or if like I'm MMEing. I just don't have any interest in him here. Outside of those 6 pitchers, it's tough to really get excited about anybody. You know, Alcantara, he's doing great, but he's going on the road against the Dodgers. Musgrove, yeah, okay, Musgrove, he's doing well. I mean, he had that no-hitter, but then since then, not so great. 11.9, 9.7, and 8.6. 2 of those games were against San Francisco, and 1 was against the Dodgers. So you can kind of give him a break there with the offenses that he's played. But he's going against St. Louis, and we know the pop that they have and the power that they have. So not super confident in him either there. Pivetta, we'll get to Pivetta when we talk about the bats, but I don't like him. Hauser going against Atlanta. Atlanta bats are scary. This Philly-Toronto game actually has the highest over-under on the slate. It's higher than Coors Field tomorrow. So don't want either of the pitchers there. Smiley going against Milwaukee. Milwaukee's going to have Narvaez back, so he's a great hitter. Smiley also had a serious issue with the home run ball. If you guys remember, we were targeting him early on in the season. He's burned us the past 2 times without, or not the last 2 times. The last time out, he didn't pitch against Toronto. But the last time out when we targeted the Washington bats and he burned us, and that was upsetting. But 1 game, now he's going against Milwaukee, who not the greatest offense. They struggle in the month of May, according to the hardcore Brewers fan in our Discord chat. But yeah, I don't have any interest there. Peterson's a great GPP play, in my opinion. And I think if I was targeting a pitcher down in this range, he would probably be the guy I'd go to. And here's why. Tampa Bay against left-handed pitching has really, really struggled in the past 3 weeks. I'm not going all the way back to the start of the season. You know, injuries come and go. So 3-week sample size here, going back to late April. Tampa Bay has a 36% strikeout rate against left-handed pitching in that time frame. It is number 1 in the league by far, a 36% strikeout rate against lefties. The over-under for this game is at 7. That's it, 7. You got Glass now on the other side of this game here. So, but Tampa Bay is only a -150 favorite. So they're not a large favorite by any means, and it's an over-under of 7. So not only are they expecting Glass now to shut down the Mets, but they're kind of also hinting at Peterson being able to shut down Tampa Bay as well, and keep them low. So I think Peterson is a phenomenal play here. He's shown his K ceiling and his upside. He's got 2 games both against Philly, but 8 strikeouts and 10 strikeouts. So he has that ceiling with the strikeout potential going against a very K-heavy team against left-handed pitching. I think Peterson might be my favorite GPP play down in this range here. Everybody else, I just don't have any interest in. It's pretty ugly down here. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody that really piques my interest, but no, no. For me, I'm going to be sticking near the top here, especially these top 3. They're just far and away better than everybody else on the slate. And then I would go CIVALE, then KLUBER. I think Peterson is a fantastic GPP play. So let's look towards the bats. Obviously, Coors Field, you're going to want to target Coors Field just because it's Coors. You guys don't need me to tell you that. But the other game that I would be targeting is the Toronto versus Philadelphia game. This has an over-under right now of 10.5, 10.5. So highest over-under on the slate. It's higher than the Coors game right now, which is listed just at a flat 10. You got Matz and Velasquez. Not awful pitchers, but they're not great either. And I think you got two quality offenses going against below average pitchers. Velasquez has had an issue with the home run ball here, as you can see. Also, his walk rate is up this season. So Toronto bats definitely in play. Trying to think. Remember, I can't recall. I don't want to say any false information, so I'm going to keep it to myself here. But yeah, Velasquez, not a great pitcher. Matz, he had a great opening start to the season against Texas, but past month or so, it's been rough. Just allowing 3, 5, 6, 3 earned runs a game. So this is a game you definitely want to be targeting. Pricing can be tough here. 5-7 for Guerrero. Looking down, I mean, Teoscar Hernandez, he's a favorite of mine. I think you guys can't tell. Over these past couple of videos, love Teoscar Hernandez. I think he's priced too cheap. I think he should be more towards the like 4.3, 4.5 range. So at 3.8, sign me up. Bohm, he got a reduction in price at 2.9. Absolutely sign me up there. Jansen, we know he's boomer bust. Maton's got a crazy average so far this season. Yeah, he's hitting nearly 300. So at 2.5, if you need that salary price, if you want to jam in a guy like Glasnow and a guy like Scherzer, you know, there's some decent value for you right there. So you definitely want to be targeting that game, but I also want to focus on the Cubs here. The Cubs are facing SKUBAL for Detroit, who has just been awful, to say the least, this season. He doesn't go deep into games, which is fantastic for us because Detroit has the worst bullpen in baseball in many of the different categories, especially in home runs allowed. Detroit bullpen allows a lot of home runs, and so does SKUBAL. So it's a whole game of pitchers who just give up the long ball against those Chicago bats who have the power. We all know what the power they have with Baez and with Bryant. Rizzo, I mean, he's a lefty going against whatever, but just hitters here. Yeah, so Baez, Contreras, Bote, Duffy. Who knows where Duffy's going to be in the order? He's been kind of bounced around here. Peterson, probably not on Peterson here. 4-1. Yeah, maybe, depending on where he is in the lineup as well. So absolutely, Chicago Cubs should definitely be on your radar, especially in your cash games, just because of who they're playing. They're playing a terrible starting pitcher, and they're going to be facing a terrible bullpen after that. GPP play that I love are the Angels, actually, here, going into Boston. Boston's throwing out Nick Pivetta as their pitcher. And you look at Pivetta's stats, he's got an ERA of 3, 5-0 this season. But again, pay attention to who these pitchers are going up against. Baltimore, Detroit, New York Mets, Seattle. There's 4 of arguably the 7 worst offenses in baseball, 8 worst offenses in baseball. He's had a very easy schedule so far. He faced the White Sox, did not do well at all. Baltimore, terrible team. Tampa Bay, offense, middle of the pack. But really, he's had a really easy schedule, and he's got the nice offense behind them to kind of boost those stats there. So I love the Angels because the Angels against righties so far, and this is going again back 3 weeks. I'm not going back the whole season, just the past 3 weeks. They're top 5 in batting in numerous categories against right-handed pitching. We're talking about their batting average, their slugging percentage, all those sorts of things. So I think they're going to be a low-owned team just because of who they're facing. But I think they're in a great spot, especially as a GPP play here. And they're fairly cheap outside of Mike Trout, who is an absurd 6.2. You know, you got Walsh and Ohtani at 4.7 and 4.6, but below that, that's great pricing, especially if you want to jam in those top two studs there. So Upton at 3.4, Fletcher 3.6, Iglesias 2.9, Ward, he's been hitting at 2.5. So I like the Angels here because you can definitely jam them in with the higher price pitching. If you go, like I said, if you go and throw in Iglesias and you throw in Fletcher, we'll throw in Upton here. Throw in Ohtani, just cause. But if we did pitchers, let me organize them. We throw in Glasnow and we throw in Scherzer. 3-4 left. All right, so you definitely can do it. I love the Angels for a GPP stack here. And yeah, so that kind of covers everything here. You're going to want to get at least one, if not two, of the top three pitchers here: Glasnow, Scherzer, Kershaw. Next three, I would go CIVALE, then KLUBER. I don't really have any interest in GREINKE. Below that, maybe MUSGROVE. And really below that, the only other guy that's sticking out is PETERSON. I think he's a fantastic GPP play. He does have a ceiling with strikeouts. He's going up against a Tampa Bay team that is striking out at an insane rate these past 3 weeks against left-handed pitching. So he's definitely on my radar there. As for bats, Philly-Toronto game, Coors Field, the Cubs, and the Angels for a great GPP play. So make sure to hit that thumbs up button, drop a comment below what you like, what you don't like. Hope to see you guys in our Discord here shortly. MLB Room is premium, but we provide all the cores. We answer any questions you guys might have. So look forward to seeing you there soon, and we will see you in the next video. See ya.